Alright, real quick I'm going to go over, and it's not real quick, it's a video. So I'm going to go over how to solve two-step equations. We did it in class today, but if you need a refresher or you want to go through it one more time, that is what we're going to do in this video. And I apologize, but my document camera is not working, so I'm going to have to type and use my mouse to write. Okay, so two-step equations. They're like they sound. They have two steps. The first step is that we want to move the constant. Well, actually we don't want to move it. We want to get constant on one side of the equal sign to the other side. Okay, because we want all the constants on one side and then anything with a variable on the other side. So you'll do this. Step one involves addition or subtraction every time. Okay, step two is going to be get the variable by itself. And this step always, so step two involves multiplication or division every single time. Okay, so please, please, please remember this part that's in pink, that I'm turning into pink, because it's really, really important. Then there's no guessing. You have a 50-50 chance. Okay, so let's do a couple problems, and I'm going to write them on here, and then I'm going to solve them. So the first one is 3x plus 2. Oh boy. Equals 11. Okay, I'm going to just write them all in here because I want to make sure. I'm having issues typing today. Okay, that's good for now. So what I want to do is I want to solve these. Okay, so the first step involves addition or subtraction every single time. So if I look right here, we see plus 2, and the opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. So if I do that on one side, I'm going to do it on the other side. And do you see how if I subtract 2, this goes away, and if I bring it over here, it's hanging out with its other friend that's a number? So 11 minus 2 is 9. And I'm left with 3x because that just stays there, and I bring my equal sign down. So now I see multiplication right here. 3 and x are together by multiplication. The opposite is to divide by that coefficient, which is the number in front of the variable. If I do it to one side, I do the exact same thing to the other side. So 3 divided by 3 goes away, and that's x. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, now if I wanted to check this, I would plug it back into the original equation using parentheses. Oops, so 3 times 3 plus 2 equals 11. So I'm going to subtract, so 9 plus 2 is 11, and therefore we know that we have done our math correctly. Okay, and I'm sorry that's so unclear. Okay, I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to move this problem up. So the second problem says 2x plus, or 2 plus 3x equals 11. And the thing I wanted to point out is that right here, we have a positive 2, and I just want the 2, not the plus sign. So we have a positive 2 here, and how we get that back to 0 on a number line is we subtract 2. And that's why you subtract if you see it first. Okay, so you'll have 3x equals 9, and you will divide again by 3 and get x equals 3. In this problem, you have a 2 minus 4x equals 6. Well, this 2 is positive, and therefore we have to subtract it, because that you either subtract or add in step 1. So so negative 4x equals 4. Okay, now in here I see multiplication with the negative 4 and x, so I do the opposite, which is negative 4. I'm dividing by a negative 4. Then I'm going to divide by a negative 4 over here, and therefore you will see that x equals, and please say negative 1, because positive divided by negative is a negative. 4 divided by 4 is 1, never, ever 0. Okay, so let me go over a couple more problems real quick, and then we are good to go. So if you see a problem that says x over 2 plus 4 equals 8. Okay, so my first step is either addition or subtraction. I see addition, and so I'm going to do the opposite, which is subtracting. Okay, so x over 2 equals 4. Okay, here I see a fraction, which means division, because this bar always represents division. So the opposite of division is multiplication, which means I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2 over 1, because we know there's a 1 here. So 1/2, and the reciprocal is 2 over 1. And then I'm going to do it on this side. So x equals 8. And if I plug it back in, 8 divided by 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. So we know we did our math correctly. I'm going to clear this and do one more. Negative x minus 3 equals 7. My first step is that I see subtraction here, and therefore I'm going to add on both sides of the equal sign. Negative x equals 10. Well, I'm not done because my x is negative, and I know that there's a 1 in front of the x when no other number is there. So a negative 1 divided by a negative 1, and a negative, or 10 divided by negative 1, because I have to do it on both sides. So I'm left with negative 10 as my answer. X is positive, it means it's happy, and there's my answer. Now when I check this, it's a whole nother thing. So I'm just going to clear this bottom part, and I'm going to show you what happens when you plug in, because I think there's some confusion there. So when I want to put my number in for x, that is literally all that I do. That's the only thing that changes is x. So my negative stays out front. I put negative 10 in for x, minus 3 equals 7. This reads as the opposite of negative 10, which is a positive 10, minus 3 equals 7. So 7 equals 7, and I've done my math right. Now, the other way you can think of it is a negative times a negative gives you a positive, so I'd have a positive 10. So however you want to remember it is fine with me. And so I have posted the key for today's practice in class online. Tomorrow we're going to do some more practice, so please make sure you understand 1- and 2-step equations and are ready to come in for the activity tomorrow. Thank you.